Hey guys, I've been wanting to do this video for a while on my Werewolf tank build, but I didn't quite have it down the way I wanted it to. And even now, it's still not perfect, but I think it's getting pretty close, so maybe some ideas from you guys might help. So let me go over with what I got. Right now, I chose an Orc Sorcerer. The reason I chose that, because this is more of a DPS build than it is a, I mean, it's a tank, but it's aimed to go for DPS also. I do a lot of pugs, and I always get stuck with people who are just absolutely horrible and shouldn't be doing dungeons that they're in, and I end up carrying them. And if you're on a normal tank, you don't do a lot of damage, so it just takes forever. So I figured I'd make this build so maybe I could speed it up a little bit. So here's what I got. Like I said, Orc Sorcerer. Reason I chose Orc is because some of the passives it gets for its class or race. So first you have Brawny, which increases your maximum stamina, which is really helpful for a werewolf. Second, Unflinching Rage, increase your max health by 1,000. Also, when you deal damage, you heal for 2164. This can occur once every 4 seconds. This is also a couple great things for a tank. Swift Warrior, I love this one. Increase your weapon and spell damage by 258. Reduce the cost of sprint, don't care. But yeah, that increases your DPS by a little bit. And then I chose Sorcerer. The reason I chose Sorcerer, because it's probably one of the highest DPS classes due to its passives. It's in, I want to say, Storm Calling, I believe, that you get the Energized. Yeah, it increases your physical and shock damage by 5%. So it's not a lot, but if you're trying to minimum maximize, things, this is a way to do it. Where is it? Capacitor is also nice because it increases your magicka recovery because, you do heal on occasion. I think those were really the only ones I cared about. Rebates, nope, I don't care about that. Oh, Power Stone is very nice because it lets you get your Werewolf ultimate a lot easier. I believe it's at 250 instead of 300. That doesn't matter. Let's see. Oh yeah, Unholy Knowledge 2 reduces your health, magicka, and stamina cost of your abilities by 6%. Another nice one. So yeah, that's also after Persistence 2, after blocking attack, your next health, magicka, or stamina ability costs 15% less. So those are the reasons I chose those two classes. Now let me show you what I got for weapons, my pieces, and everything. So for my first 5-piece set, I chose Briarheart. So here's what Briarheart does. I chose this because you are kind of low on crit damage, and this does boost it quite a bit. So you got your first bonus, 657 weapon crit. Second is 1,096 maximum stamina, which you need. More crit. And then the nice thing here, number 5, when you deal crit damage, you increase your weapon damage by 450 for 10 seconds. While this effect is active, your critical strikes heal you for 213 health. Yeah, that's not a lot, but it's definitely nice when you're tanking just to get, heals on your own without having to do anything. So that is my first set. My second set is Tormentor. Now this is what allows you to tank as a werewolf. You get, health, max health, healing. And then the fifth one, when you deal direct damage with a charge, leap, teleport, or pull ability, you gain 3,642 physical and spell resistance, which is really nice because this build doesn't have a lot of resistance, and this helps boost it. But you also taunt the enemy you attack, you taunt the enemy to attack you for 15 seconds. Now this is kind of weird. I noticed what happens with this is when you're taunting, or when you're doing this on a boss or near a boss, it'll hit the boss and all the mobs around you, so you'll taunt everything. If you do it in a normal group, it doesn't seem to work, but whatever, that's a little side note. But that is the set of gear you need to get. The other one for my 2-piece, I just got Slime Craw, because once again, more crit, and you gain Minor Berserk at all times, increasing your damage done by 5%. Now, you might think that's a waste, because you have people who buff you, because you don't do a lot of buffs yourself in Werewolf, really. The problem is, I don't like relying on other people, because I usually end up pugging, and people are usually bad. So, I just, decided to use that, that 2-piece. Now, I went all heavy, and I went all multi-enchantment for it. And for my big pieces, I used Infuse, so increased armor enchantment. And then the smaller pieces, I used Divine and increased Mundus Stone effect. For my weapons, I did Nirnhone, Sword and Shield, multi-enchantment, and then Nirnhone, yeah, once again to increase my physical and spell resistance. Dual daggers. Now, this is kind of curious. If anybody knows why this happens, let me know. But notice right now I am in Sword and Shield. If you look at my character for my stamina recovery, it's 1845. If I switch to dual daggers, it's now 1572. I have absolutely no clue why. Yeah, so if anybody knows, let me know. Anyway, so as far as my stats go, so right now, Sword and Shield with what you'll be tanking with usually, I have about 33k HP, 25k stamina, 1845 stamina recovery, 3516 weapon damage, about 30% crit, and then 21k physical resistance. Now the physical and spell resistance will get buffed quite a bit when you're in Werewolf and when you're using that leap skill. It comes up to around almost 31k. I like to aim for about 32k, so you're a little under it, but you're pretty close to this build. So that all being said, I'm sure I missed something. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to go and show you here how I can pull about 20k with the Sword and Shield as a Werewolf tank.
Come to us, Garzugar. Too late. Garzugar comes.
So as you can see there, it disappeared when I popped up, but I had about a little over 30k defense. So right now in Werewolf, you can see I got about 5k weapon damage, 41 crit. Once again, stamina recovery, 1572, so I don't think it matters. You know, weapon passives do not matter when you're in Werewolf, so I guess it really doesn't matter when you're in Werewolf. But you can see my damage there, 22,771 in the upper left-hand corner. Some of my morphs I didn't share for Werewolf. Obviously all heavy armor. Werewolf. So what I did, first off, I chose Pack Leader because Pack Leader is, let's see, when transformed, where is it? You take 10% less damage, which is good for a tank. You summon 2 direwolves, which helps you stay in Werewolf longer, and you also grant yourself and nearby allies minor courage, increasing their weapon and spell damage by 215. So here's the thing: when you're usually a tank should be buffing people. When you're a Werewolf tank, obviously you're not buffing people at all. So that one little thing right there that does help a little bit. My second one, I chose Brutal Pounce. Yeah, let's see. There was really nothing that too special about it. Let's see. Hircine's Fortitude. Let's see. This one I might actually change. But for now, I use it because increased what's called stamina recovery and healing for 6 seconds. Let's see. Ferocious Roar. Oh, I chose Ferocious Roar because stamina can be a real pain in this build, which I've seen, and I'm trying to figure out a way around it, but I haven't figured it out yet. So for now, you use Ferocious Roar, and then you can swing faster with your heavier attacks, and that helps you get your stamina back quicker. So that was my way to get around it for now. Howl of Agony, I use Claws of Life because it's a good heal. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. As you guys saw there, I didn't really heal myself at all because I just had passives that were healing me at all times. So, it is just a world boss. It's not that tough. But it's a good start, I think, for this build. If you guys have any ideas that think they can make this better, I'd really appreciate it. You know, if this helps you out, awesome. I really enjoy playing a werewolf tank. It's a lot of fun to actually do DPS and tank at the same time. That way it makes it a lot easier to get, you know, groups for pubs and things like that. So, otherwise, thanks everyone for watching my video, and I'll see you next time.